Hello dear learners, I Pratiksha Parismita from RI Bhubaneswar welcome you all to today's session. We know many people do research, but what is it? What is research? What is the concept of research? Today we will discuss all about it. So today's topic of discussion is what is research, what is educational research basically, what is the concept of research, what is the nature of research and what are the type of research we conducted. So for that we are very fortunate to have with us Professor Ramakant Mahalik from Department of Education, RI Bhubaneswar with us. Sir will definitely help us to explore each type of educational research, how to conduct them, when to conduct them. So sir, let us start. Sir, could you please explain about what is research? What is educational research basically?
This is good. You know that research is a subject, it is introduced from the graduate and postgraduate level. And when you study research, the first unit, the first chapter is what is research, what is the nature of research, what are the different types of research. Okay, I will explain you everything. Like let me start with research. If you see the word research, re plus search. Re I mean again and again. Searching means you have to search and find out something. And if you put together re and search, then that is research. Research in a layman's term, like you have to search something again and again to find out a new things, to find out something new solutions. And that if you put in the context of education, then we have to search again and again to find out solution in the field of education. But what happened nowadays, research becomes a scientific, research becomes a systematic. In that way, if you define or if you can understand what is research, then research is a systematic process. It is a process of searching again and again. It is a process of finding answer to the question. It is the process of finding solution to the question. But now here we are discussing about the educational research. So all our questions, all our problems must be focused on education, and through the education research we will try to find out solution so that the educational problems we will solve it, so that the quality of education, the quality of teaching learning will improve.
Sir, very wonderful explanation. But sir, I have a query. There is some many different subject we do research. In scientific research, we do in social science some research. What are the basic differences between scientific research and research in social science, etc.?
In fact, research itself is a scientific, whether it is education or in social science or in a science. But sometimes the students are confused. So research in science, research in social science. Okay. But as I said, research is scientific, research is systematic, whether it is science, whether in mathematics, whether in medical science, whether in law, everywhere research is systematic and science. But I will clarify there are certain line of difference between research in education and social science, research in science. What you say in research in science is objective. Because science, most of these times study the physical phenomena, the phenomena that is tangible, the phenomena that you can see, that you can touch, that you can measure. Therefore, the scientific research is always more objective. I say more objective. But when you say social science research and education research, so we are focusing on a human being. So our, the subject of research is human. The human which is changeable, the human behavior is changeable, human attitude is changeable, human action is changeable. And therefore, it is very difficult to maintain a kind of objectivity that we keep in scientific research. I say I am not talking about education research is not objective. But if you compare objectivity in education research and objectivity in scientific research, definitely the scientific research objectivity more. They are 100%, 100% objective. But in education research, it is little less objective than scientific research. The only method is that, only problem is that we are dealing with a human being. And the human being, they are unpredictable. the human being, their behavior is changing, their action is changing, and therefore we say that education research is little subjective, because human being is subjective.
So, sir, can you please tell us what is the basic nature of the research? What should be the nature of the research?
Okay, though whether research is science or mathematics or medical science or in education, the nature of research are most of the times it is same, with a slight variation. If you find scientific research and research in field of education, you may have a slight variation. I will explain you one by one. I told you research is something, this is a process. The reason what we are discussing here, research is a process. It is a process of finding solution. It is a process of conducting investigation. So therefore, the first nature of research is that research is a process. Research itself is not a product. Rather, research is a process by which you can get a product. Product means new innovations, new inventions. You design a new product. That is the outcome of your research. But research is a process. Adding to that, I want to tell you that research is also a systematic process. I said research is systematic. Systematic, I mean there is a step-by-step process. You have to do first identify the problem, then you have to prepare a plan, research proposal, then you have to select the sample, you have to develop the tool. So these are the different steps are there. So therefore, research is always systematic. I am not talking about only education. Any research is always systematic, and research is always structured. Structure, I mean there is a format, there is a peer, there is a group of researchers, those who already develop a structure. If you are doing education research, then you cannot have your own format. This is a limitation. So you have to follow the maybe either APA format or a Chicago format, or you have to follow your university format. So therefore, the nature of education research is systematic and it is a structure, it is a format, this one. And the second one is research is always empirical. When I say empirical, it is based on the data. It can be a primary data, it can be secondary data, but research means that you have to based on the data. When there is no data, you cannot say that it is a research. You see, because it is always evidence based. You see, for example, in education research, when you are conducting research in the field of, suppose you say the school infrastructure, you are visiting different types of school and collecting data about the school infrastructure, then you are preparing a report. So that means your report is based on the empirical evidence. The research is based on the data collection, on the data. Therefore, it is always empirical. And the third nature of research is, I say objective and unbiased. I am talking about objectivity. Even in education research, we are trying to make it objective, because we follow a systematic process. We have a experimental study in education research. Experiment means you try to control everything. When you control everything, then your objectivity of the research increases. So therefore, the nature of education research is objective. We try to become unbiased. Especially I am talking about educational research in case of experiment. Experiment is unbiased. So he tried to manipulate the variable, he tried to get the result, and he has no personal involvement there. So he want to manipulate and he want to observe it. Therefore, the researcher is unbiased here. So research process itself is an unbiased process. The true education research is unbiased. And the fourth point I want to tell you, the nature of education research is replicable. So we have to design our research in such a way that it can be replicable. I mean, it can be conducted by somebody else by following your method, your procedure, your tools and your techniques. If you have done a research, if I am not able to replicable it, then there is some problem in your research process. Because once I replicate, I mean if I repeat your research, then I can verify your research result. Therefore, it is replicable. And the last point I want to tell you, there are so many nature of education research there, but last point I will make you. The nature of education research is always contextual and it is also interdisciplinary. You see the subject matter of education is interdisciplinary. It is not confined to one subject. When you do education research, you study philosophy, you study psychology, you study sociology, you study technology, you study the school, you study the teacher. Therefore, you try to study on different subjects. You try to establish a link, and therefore, when you do education research, you are interdisciplinary researcher. You are not confined to only teacher, only school. You are studying education in the context of society. in the context of diverse background. Therefore, the nature of education research is always interdisciplinary in nature, and it's always contextual. Because when you do, some kind of research, classroom research, you have to go to the classroom. The classroom may be from rural area, maybe from urban area. When you go to urban area, your context is different. When you go to the rural area, your context is different. And therefore, it is always contextual. But I should tell you that, the nature of education research, it is a process, it is a systematic process, it is a scientific process, and it is always based on empirical data and empirical evidence.
Sir, sometimes we see some researchers says that I am doing applied research, I am doing qualitative research. Is there any way to classify the research methods or to differentiate the research methods in many ways?
Yes, I will try to clarify this point. Research can be classified into different types. There are different ways to classify the research. There are 3 ways. I will explain you. There are 3 ways. The first way is research can be classified on basis of purpose. On the basis of purpose, we can have a basic research, we can have a applied research, we can have a action research. I will give a detailed explanation. And on the basis of objectives, because when you do research is always objective. So when you do a research, you have a different objective. On basis of objective, we can have a descriptive research, we can have a correlational research, we can have a explanatory research, and we can have a exploratory research. And the last way to classify education research is on the basis of method. So method, when I say what is the process you are following to undertake the research. So on basis of method, you can have a quantitative method, we can have a qualitative research, you can have a mixed method. Nowadays we are coming with a mixed method, both qualitative and quantitative.
Okay, sir. Sir, tell me about something about basic research. What is basic research?
Okay, I will tell you, there are three types of research on basis of their purpose. 3 types of research. One is basic research, another is applied research, another is action research. If I talk about basic research, the word is basic, it is otherwise known as fundamental research. In case of basic research or fundamental research, the main purpose is to develop a theory. The main purpose is to generate a knowledge. Main purpose is to develop certain new things. So when your purpose is to develop certain new things, you are naturally involved in the basic research. I will give you an example. All the learning theory that was developed, this is the outcome of the basic research. You say trial and error learning theory, you say Pavlov learning theory. All learning theory are part of the basic research, because the purpose was to design something, to develop something. If I come to the applied research, in case of applied research, purpose always is to verify the result of the basic research. Basic research is theoretical. The researcher, they have developed a theory, they develop a model, and that model must be tested in the practical condition or the real condition. And for that, we have to go to the applied research. We have to conduct applied research. When the research scholar is working on it, the effectiveness of ICT integrated teaching on students' learning performance, he or she is involved in the applied research, because ICT integrated learning is a model. It is a theoretical idea developed by this basic researcher. Now we have to apply in the classroom situation and see that whether it is really effective, whether it is really applicable. So that way it is a applied research. And the last kind of research, what I want to say, is action research. It's a very, very important, and it is completely different from your applied research and basic research. So the basic research and applied research both requires a specialized knowledge from the researcher. If you want to do anything like basic research or applied research, you should have a better understanding, or you should have a sufficient understanding, I say, on research methodology, on the subject that you are studying. But if you see, in case of action research, the people having less understanding on educational research can do the action research. Therefore, we say action research is a practitioner research. Teacher can do the action research. The headmaster can do the action research. School principal can do the action research. A lawyer can do action research. An NGO worker can do action research. And therefore, we say it is a practitioner research. But what is the difference? You see, the basic research deals with a global problem. The problem that is encountered by the humanity, the problem that is encountered by a larger community. And the same thing in basic research. Basically, we always try to verify a theory, always try to verify or test something invented by the basic researcher. But the applicability is global. So it gets benefited by so many people. But in case of action research, it is only who is benefited. The teachers are benefited. The person who do the research, they get benefit of action research. This is the beauty of the action research. So action research is something that can empower our teachers, that can empower our practitioners. I'll do action research. Whatever result will come, I'll use that that result to improve my practice, to improve my knowledge system, to improve my professional. So therefore, what you can do, the basic research, it usually takes a lot of time. If you have a lot of time, you want to spend more time on research purpose, or you want to generate something, you want to develop something, you go for basic research. Because basic research requires a lot of time, a lot of money, and you have to spend a lot of effort in doing basic research. And when you come down to applied research, it is a less time taking than basic research, because you are verifying here, you are testing here. But basic research is also very rigid. Basic research and applied research, both are very rigid. It follows a structure, it follows a format. You cannot modify it, you cannot change it. But when coming to the action research, since its use is local setting, it is applicable to one classroom, one school, maybe one teacher. So therefore, here it is a flexible in nature. The teacher can do the research by using available resources. So it requires a less money, it requires less effort. But one thing about the action research is that it requires a emotional involvement of the researcher, I mean the teacher. I am the teacher. If I am facing any problem, I should get emotionally based on that. If I feel that yes, I want my students should improve, I want my school should improve, I want my practice should improve, then I will be involved in the action research. So it is up to the researcher to decide which kind of research they want to do. If you have, most of the times the research scholars, those are leading for PhD degree, they are involved in applied kind of research. And the professors, those who work in scientific lab, those who are working in the department, in the university, they are doing basic research. They want to design something, they want to improve something. But in action research, when teachers are facing problem and they want to solve their problem, so the best way is undertake action research and you can find out the solution for this.
Sir, very beautifully you explain about the action research, applied research and basic research. Now I want to know something about the research method based on the objective.
Yes, very good. Now, similarly, when you classify research on the basis of objectives, we have objective means like why you are conducting research. So it can be, research can be a descriptive. So what is your objective here? Your objective is you want to describe, you want to explain, you want to narrate what is the condition, you have to discuss what is the present status. So then you want to conduct a descriptive research. That is one research is a descriptive research. It always explains what is happening. It always explains what is the status. So it's a descriptive research. We have another method is a correlation. Research is a correlation. Here what you are doing? You are trying to find out the relationship between one variable with another variable. Suppose for example, you want to see the student's achievement and socioeconomic status of the parents. So you have to involve in a relationship. So then the method is you are applying is a correlational research. And there are other research like explanatory. Explanatory research means you want to explain why it is happening. Then this is something like a experimental research. In case of experimental research, you want to see if I am doing it, then what is the result? If I am using art integrated teaching, what is its effect on the student performance? What is the effect on the learning engagement? So here you are trying to explain. I mean, you want to find out what is the effect, what is the impact of one variable on another. This is explanatory. And there is another type of research on basis of objective, exploratory. Here your object, what is your objective? Objective is to explain. To explain what is the background. You want to explore. You are not explaining here, rather you are exploring. Exploring means the things are not known. You are not aware about this. Past research is not indicating anything. Here, past research is not indicating anything. You are completely new, you are completely dark. You started doing research. And here, your property you want to explore. Suppose, for example, you want to study the student-teacher relationship that in the RI Bhubaneswar. So, here past research is absent. You are maybe the first researcher, you want to explore it. Exploring means you want to give a explanation what is the kind of relationship that exists between teacher and students. So, that way we have a variety of research methods on the basis of the objectives.
Sir, on the basis of method, you said there are three types of research, quantitative, qualitative and mixed method. Can you explain something about the mixed method and quantitative
Yes.
and qualitative
Then
method?
we should also understand there are research designs. One is a quantitative research design, there is a qualitative research design, and another is a mixed method research design, which is very popular nowadays. I will explain you. Quantitative research design or quantitative research method. So, under quantitative research design, we have descriptive, correlational, we have survey, the experimental. So, quantitative, I mean when I say a research is quantitative, that means the research is based on the quantitative data. Research is based on the measured data. You want to find out the student's achievement in Odisha at the secondary level. So, here you want to measure the student's achievement. So, that student's achievement can be quantified. So, it can be in terms of the score. So, then it is part of the quantitative research, quantitative research methods. So, main point I want to tell you that when a research is based on the quantitative data or measured data, then that research will be quantitative. And we have variety of methods. I told you the experimental, the survey, the correlational, the ex post facto research. These are all quantitative. But we have a qualitative research. The qualitative, I mean here the data is not quantity, data is not number, data is the text, data is the visuals, data is the video, data is the audio. So, here number is absent completely. So, what you are doing? You are collecting qualitative data, I mean the text, the video, you are collecting, you are analyzing, you are preparing it. So, we have number of qualitative research methods. I will tell you like case study. In case study, what you are doing? Case study is a method. You are trying to explore one particular individual or one particular institution. You are getting an in-depth understanding of that particular case. The case study is there. We can have a ethnographic study. We can have a phenomenological study. We can have a grounded theory. So, there is a lot variety of qualitative data is there. Qualitative data and qualitative research are there. The basic difference, if I say you quantitative and qualitative, one I mean quantitative is based on the number, it is based on the quantitative data, it is based on the measured data. But in case of qualitative, it is a non-numerical. It is something, it is based on the word, it is based on the pictorial data, the video data. Here, the variables are not measured. Most of the times, the variables are string variables, the variable that is expressed in terms of words. So, but finally, we have another one kind of method, that is merge of quantitative and qualitative. We say mixed method, which is very popular. In a mixed method is a kind of research where quantitative data is also there, qualitative data is also there. Quantitative methods are followed and quantitative methods are also followed. So, we are putting together, but beautifully we are putting together, and so that we are telling this is a qualitative, quantitative, and this is a mixed method. Mixed method is a research where there is a scope to use quantitative and qualitative, both. What you are using in a very beautiful way, you are using in a very specific sequence. That is a qualitative and quantitative and mixed method research.
Thank you, sir, for explaining those concepts very clearly and beautifully. In short, I want to summarize all the concept. Sir explained about what is research, what is the nature of research, might be systematic, it is replicable. And sir explained about the types of research. There are parameters to classify the research. On the basis of method, we can classify it in three types. On the basis of objective, we can classify it in descriptive, explanatory, exploratory, like that. And on the basis of purpose, we classify it in basic research and action research and applied research. And sir beautifully and clearly explain all about the all types of research. So thank you, sir, for clarifying our knowledge and for your beautiful explanation. Thank you very much.